We see an interesting mural covering the background while a package is being delivered by drone. This man is on his way to work. He's notified by his phone that the bus is going to be late, but it found him an alternate route. We're in a not too distant future. Artificial intelligence and machine automation is the norm. His phone then notifies him of an urgent message. He's under arrest, and he's to stay where he is and await a police escort. Immediately after, the police drone arrives, confirming his identity as Mateo Torres and for him to put the handcuffs on. He says he didn't do anything, but the police drone says failure to comply will result in the use of non-lethal force. He puts on the handcuffs and arrives at Corrector Court Jail. He's ordered by drone to place his belongings in the tray. He wants to speak to a human because he says he hasn't done anything wrong. He complies though. He puts on the prison uniform and an automated prison voice directs him to his cell.
Cell block C14.
In his cell, he's greeted by a computer welcoming him to Corrector Court Jail. Then a commercial telling him he can upgrade his cell for $75. He just wants to speak to a human lawyer. He flips through ads for attorneys and comes across one that's going to charge him $10,000 because of the complexity of his case. Of course, he doesn't have that, so he decides to go with the automated public defender. Horrible choice. The automated public defender just completed a simulation of his trial and tells him that there's an 89% chance that he'll be found guilty. He wants to know guilty of what, but the computer says this ruling usually carries a sentence of 45 to 47 years in prison and gives him an option of a plea bargain and encourages him to plead guilty, and that will knock 5 years off his prison sentence. Yeah, that's not enough. He still wants to know what he's guilty of. The computer is only giving him limited information and says his trial will begin in 90 days. He asks the computer again if he can speak to a human being. The computer says, "Would you like to make a call?" And he says yes, to the chief of police. Bad choice. He has to accept the terms and conditions to place the call, but he doesn't read them. He gets a message saying, "Thank you for calling the LAPD. A human representative will be with you in a moment." Then they put him on hold. He's on hold for so long that he falls asleep and is awakened by the computer beeping. The call ended because of insufficient funds. He doesn't understand, so the computer tells him that he authorized a transfer from his bank to place the call. It was $3 a minute for 114 minutes. That's when he fell asleep. He says no one told him that, but then the computer shows him the terms and conditions that he didn't read. And now his bank account is at zero. Feeling like all is lost with no money, no answers, he decides to go to sleep, but the computer asks him if he wants the lights off for a more comfortable sleep. He says yes. Computer says you have insufficient funds to turn the lights off. He's awakened by a commercial by a company called Handmade, where they offer you the option of learning a trade or to earn an hourly wage by making clothes. The screen tells him to take control of his life today by saying handmade. Pissed off, he says handmade. He is immediately given a knitting kit and instructions on how to make things. He makes a few things and puts them in a slot, but he's only making pennies. They send him lunch, but they deduct it from his account. It's essentially slave labor for some corporation. He keeps making things, building up his account pennies at a time until finally he has enough to make another phone call. He calls his mother to let her know that he's in jail. His mother picks up, she's not listening, he's not being clear. The father gets on, he wants to know what's going on, still no one's listening. I hate phone calls like this in movies where nobody's paying attention to each other. And not to nitpick, but how do you have 5 minutes talk time when it costs $3 a minute and you only had $5 in your account? Either way, he's able to let them know that he needs $10,000 to get out, and then the call cuts off. Then the automated public defender comes on and asks him if he thought about taking a plea deal. While trying to feed one of his knitted creations a strawberry, a court-appointed drone flies in to find out if he's going to plead guilty or not.
Please state your plea.
The computer and the drone keep badgering him to enter a plea. He finally says, "I plead guilty," which makes zero sense. The computer wants him to confirm and lock in his plea when he sees a message that his parents sent $10,000 to the jail. He changes his plea to not guilty.
The word fuck you.
He contacts the $10,000 lawyer who tells him he's looking at his case and suggests that he takes the plea deal. Mr. Torres says again, "I didn't do anything." That's when the lawyer finally looks up at him and looks at his computer tablet and says, "Oh no, not again," and tells Mateo, "Just sit and wait a minute." Frustrated, he lays down. But that's quickly interrupted by the computer saying, "We hope you enjoyed your stay. Please exit the room to start your discharge process." Ugh, the machine even gave him back his banana. He puts his cell phone earpiece in to listen to his messages as he changes back into his original clothing. His friends are looking for him, he's been fired from his job and about to be evicted from his apartment. They also leave him a pamphlet from that company Handmade that lets him know they proudly hire ex-convicts. He leaves the banana, leaves the jail as he tries to enter back into society. And that's where the movie ends. It's a cool commentary on a broken criminal justice system that tells you even in the future, if you're poor, you don't have a chance. But on a side note, there's no way I'm getting arrested by a drone. Fuck out of here with that.